You're wrong. We're already dead.
After a wonderful devil's night of seeing Neon Maniacs on the big screen on a very crappy 35mm, as one person, I think, fell asleep right at the beginning of the film and snored through the whole thing. But now we're delving deep. There'll be 2 more episodes late on Halloween, going into the first during Horrorama weekend. But tonight, we talk about a movie made by a man called Lief Jonker, or whatever. If that's your real name, sir, I question this. About some young people who can't go out in the sun, or they explode! The movie's called Darkness. But not just Darkness the vampire version. I remember first hearing about this film in an article in Fangoria back in the 90s with the awesome cover which for the longest time I always thought was a girl, and then finally saw the film and discovered it's not. The guy is half torn in half, he's covered in blood. It says, "Even the dead will scream." I'm like, that's pretty awesome. The review made it sound like it was a terrible movie all around, saying it's just a lot of blood being dumped on the actors from off screen. And essentially they're right. However, there's some pretty amazing homemadeness to this film. For having a lot of for being projected onto a wall and then refilmed so it could be released on video, so everything looks whitewashed. It looks like the atomic bomb's going off all the time. It's and having no real strength in its narrative, having the doofiest looking main villain ever. But a couple of kids in there have some real charisma. And there's some, actually, as it becomes more and more of a almost post-apocalyptic film after a while, setting the stage of like today's zombie rave. Basically, these vampires in this movie are actually just zombies. They seem to be led and created by one guy who seems more like a classic vampire, but everybody else, just a really moody zombie. For being super homemade, there's some awesome gore gags, like crazy stuff, like when one guy gets run over by a car. Really cool. They're running around with a chainsaw scene, very cool, inspiring. And then, of course, blowing up vampires. Lots of people melting and blowing up all over the place. One of the main leads in this even kind of looks like whatever the hell his name is from Drive, the young Hercules kid. The guy who's like the Thing nowadays. But evidently I don't think anyone from The Darkness became a star. Not to be mistaken with the band The Darkness. I believe a thing called love. Anyway, here's some more clips from Lief, Jonkers, The Darkness. He made a lot of fake trailers saying he made a lot of other movies, but I don't think he made any other movies. This movie's rough to watch, but if you're a real horror fan, you get into it and you realize there's really something here. I actually feel for some of these characters. Something very oddly endearing about these troubled kids and their vampire problem.